Hi guys, this is Beth. I just wanted to introduce Erika to you guys today. She is my next hot seat interview, and I'm excited to dive in with her and talk to her about her success this year and everything that encompasses that. So here's Erika.
Hey guys, nice to be here. Thanks, Beth, for having me.
Sure. So what we're gonna do, we'll dive right in. Let's talk about where you were before you met me in January, before you got into the group, and just kind of a little backstory with your family and your job and the things that you were kind of coming into with the new year.
Okay, yeah. So, and let's see, where do I even start? I've always wanted to do this. I always wanted to be an organizer. I never knew it was a thing, but I did some research back in 2009, and I found like that this is an industry, and there's national associations and the whole 9 yards. But I got a really good corporate job out of school, and so I did that for about 8 years. But really, the turning point for me was when I had my son in 2018. And kind of going back to work after having him and just really struggling with being gone all day and never getting time with him. And I'd get really emotional about the amount of time I actually spent being a mom after waiting what felt like my whole life to have him, you know. So I really struggled with that. I was really depressed and unhappy. And this dream of mine was always in the back of my head, like, you know, this is what you wanted to do. Do it. But then it seems so unattainable. Now I have a mortgage and a baby, and like, how am I supposed to like quit my job and do this thing that's so unknown, right?
Right.
So in 2019, my son turned 1, I turned 30. Going into 2020, it just felt like, if not now, when? Like, come on, girlfriend, now's the time, new decade, let's do this. So I went into 2020 really determined. Who knew about COVID and this whole life we would be living this year? But I just went in January 1 ready to make this a reality and really ready to take back my life and control and time and feel like I could give my son, you know, be the mom I wanted to be, but also still be a business person. I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, you know, full time,
Right.
but just be able to have that flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
So now kind of here we are.
Yes. So that was, end of last year. You're thinking, I want to make this happen in 2020. So then what happened in January? How did you find me? How did you find the group? What was your process going into January?
Yeah, I just knew I needed like a support system going into this. I've kind of had tried along the years to start and stop this business, and it never really took off. So I was like, if I'm going to do this, I need to find someone that's going to kind of push me to do so. I had no idea that there was organizing groups on Facebook. I didn't know you could be a coach for one. None of that was known to me.
Right.
But I joined a couple different, I just think I probably just typed in like professional organizer into Facebook and joined a couple of groups. And I know you reached out right away as I kind of got in there, and it just felt like such a warm family. And I connected with you, and I think right away you're just kind of like, oh, I do this coaching thing. I'm like, all right, well, a coach sounds like probably something I could use to get started. So, all right, you know, sign me up. Where do I sign? So that you had just told me it was Jan 27th that we first started together. So almost a whole year now.
I know, it's crazy. I can't believe how much has happened in a year. So, okay, so you signed up with my program. We did the 5 weekly calls.
Yep.
How did you feel about the calls? How did you feel about the program? And how did you kind of get your mindset and get yourself ready to like, I'm going to do this, and how am I going to do this with your family and your work? So tell me about juggling initially when you started. January.
Yeah. Yep. And that was, you know, pre-COVID. So my son was in daycare. I was working full time. My husband worked full time. I've always been a morning person. So I just was like, I'm going to get up early and I'm going to do like work on my business early in the morning. So I get up early before my son, knock out some stuff, you know, get some of my ducks kind of in a row. And then get him off to school, get, you know, my work day started, and just kind of keep plugging along and do more at night if I, you know, still had the energy to. Right. So I just kind of fit it in wherever I could. But I think the big thing with your program and like our calls and just kind of keeping on track with like the startup stuff, I think that's what always overwhelmed me. And I was like, I don't know how to register a business, or like, what is an LLC? Do I need that? Like, you know, just kind of putting me at ease and reminding me that not all my ducks need to be totally lined up before I get started, and just kind of giving me that kick in the butt to put my name out there and see what happens. You know, the rest kind of falls into place.
Okay. So you had a little bit of time, and then March 13th is when the whole world shut down. So tell me about that and how you navigated. We were all shut down for a couple months. So tell me how that hit you and what you did to kind of, pivot or maybe pause your business, or what did you do in March?
Yeah, no, there was no pausing. For some reason, I was like, all right, well, we're just going to like figure this out. So now my son's home. husband's home,
Okay.
still expected to work full time. I'm on a lot of meetings during the day. My corporate job I was. So it was just like a matter of juggling all of that. And I honestly think COVID was like the best thing that could have happened, because it made me realize that like I will do the bare minimum to get my job done. This is my corporate job.
Yes.
But I don't need to spend all this time doing things that are just not important. So kind of refocused me. But actually March was my first month I had a paying client. I helped a college girl pack up her dorm room. She was
I
from
remember.
Canada,
I remember
and she
that.
had to go home, and she was like, my mom and I will kill each other if we do this together. I need you to help me. So I
That's
was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, how was
So
the
I didn't,
consult for that? How did it go? How did it feel getting that check or that payment? What was that like, your first job? Tell me about that
it
feeling.
was so surreal. I didn't really do a consult. We just talked on the phone about what she needed. And I was like, it's a dorm room. How
Easy.
hard can it be? So I brought all the packing materials with me. I'm like in downtown Pittsburgh, no idea where I'm going.
Yep.
So I'm nervous, but I'm like, I've packed my own dorm room how many years in a row, right? So like, I got this. But I just remember when she paid me, and I was like, oh my God, I just made money doing this. Like,
Yeah,
this
you're
is so cool.
professional
This
now.
is so
Yeah.
weird.
Yes.
So it was a really cool experience, kind of surreal, like looking back, and that also feels like about a million years ago.
Really?
Um,
True.
but yeah,
Okay.
so
All
we
right. So
just powered through.
yep, you kept plugging away. So let's talk about when we kind of got out of COVID. So in Michigan, I would say end of May, we started getting back into
Yeah.
homes. Is that about right? Early June?
Yeah.
Started kind of
End of May, early June.
homes.
Yep.
So
Yep.
tell me about, well, first of all, talk about what we did in those months, all the training we did. And like that kind of saved me too, because I was so bored. I couldn't play tennis or get into home. So I'm like, okay, we're tripling down on the coaching. So tell me
Mhm.
about how that was, all those classes we did and all the Zoom
Yeah.
calls and how much, fun we
Oh
had.
my
Tell me a
gosh.
little bit about
Yeah.
that.
And I did all these videos, and I just was like, any opportunity I had, any spare moment, I was just like, okay, how can I learn more? How can I grow more? Who else can I network with? We're all home. So like, who could I Zoom and have coffee with? Because,
Exactly.
you're home too. So let's just chat about it. So just really, I just viewed the whole situation, as horrible as it has been, as super positive, and just, okay, how can I make the most of it?
Right.
But yeah, June, I know my son went back to school June 1st. So
Okay.
that was when like daycares reopened around here.
Yeah.
So May, I made a little bit of money. June, I sold my first big package.
Oh yeah. Tell
I
me
sold a
that.
24-hour package to a couple who was moving across state. So they wanted me to pack their townhouse.
Okay.
So that was my first month. I made over $1,000, and
Great.
again, I'm working full time, and I'm kind of just squeezing this in where I can, nights or weekends, or if I can kind of take off early in an afternoon.
Right.
So I was pretty proud of that. $1,000 is not nothing, and
Amazing. Yeah.
squeezing it in when I could. So
Right. Right.
pretty proud of that.
Good. And then
Um,
how did July and August go? So like people are more into homes and getting more, traction with their business. How did those months go for you?
Yeah, awesome. So my husband and I had a lot of these conversations about, and he was really skeptical. Like, people really going to pay you? Do you really want to go in people's houses? You want to touch their stuff? Are you going to wear gloves? Like, all the questions. And I'm like, listen, I'm passionate about this. You don't need to understand it. You just need to support me.
Right.
So we had a lot of conversations about our finances and just what things will look like if I do leave this, super secure, high paying job that I had. And so we came up with a number that I had to meet every month in order to just like pay my portion of the bills and
Sure.
keep us kind of maintaining our house and everything
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
So I hit that number in July. I actually exceeded it by about $700. So I made, I'll just tell you the numbers. Our goal was 2,000 a month, and then I made 2,700 in July.
That's amazing.
So
what did he
that
say
was when I
after that?
said, woo!
Yes. What did he say when he saw those numbers? Like, oh my gosh, this is working. This is happening, right?
I think he was just still skeptical. Like, people are really paying you? Like, what the heck? I'm like, listen, there's a need, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay. So
So
July.
that was when we decided I could quit my job. So I did put my notice in July.
Yeah.
But I had been with the company for a really long time. So I stayed and I worked till September. So July, August, and pretty much the whole month of September, I exceeded my $2,000 each month, but I was again still working full time. So balancing it.
Tell me about September when you finally put your notice in and you quit, and what was that like? Because you're really like leaving that old job behind and firing up for the new.
Oh my gosh,
Whatever,
just
right?
the freedom. the freedom. I was sitting on the floor today in our kitchen. My son was like, he's 2, so he was like putting fake shampoo in my hair and washing my hair and just laughing at me. And I was like, this is what life is about. Like, it's working when I want to work. It's kind of having this balance of how many days I want to work. It's not rushing home to come and check emails and be tied to a desk or a phone. Just the liberating feeling of doing my own thing
Yeah.
is so freeing. It's crazy.
Booking customers when you want to, taking a couple
Yeah.
days off when you want to take a trip, you go. It's so easy and flexible, isn't it?
Yeah. I've had long weekends or a vacation every single month this year.
Yeah.
I
Great.
mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what it's all about to me, and the balance. So I'm not looking, I look at some of these girls that are making 10K and I think that's amazing. And I definitely will get there someday. But right now I'm also not busting myself too hard. I'm, working about 3 days a week, probably 15, maybe 20 hours in a week, depending.
Perfect.
I'm home for dinner every night. I'm awake with my son every morning. Like
You're
we just,
living life,
it's a great
enjoying
balance.
your family. It's perfect. Yeah, it's the perfect
Yeah.
where you are in life right now. You want to enjoy everything. You've got
Yep.
your side business and it's all balanced. It's all
Yep.
perfect for you. So that's what's really incredible.
It is.
So then, so September, then you were wrapped up your job. And then how was your September?
September was really good, 2,500.
Mhm.
I think I had a week of vacation in there too. I had a lot of vacation. So none of these weeks are like full, months, or none of these months were like full working either.
Right. Getting any more big jobs or any large packages that you were selling? Anything else in that like August, September, October area?
Yeah, I think it was October. I sold my biggest package so far was a 48 hour to pack up this huge, beautiful house, move this couple to Texas. So I'm still working with them. They're moving in January. So we've kind of just slowly been packing things as we go. But that's been really fun. I've sold a lot of like 12 to 18-hour packages. Probably the most. I do a lot more of that size package.
Perfect.
More than anything, but I like those too. It's like you're in and out in a couple weeks and it's really big satisfaction, and you can transform their lives pretty quickly.
Right. Awesome. Okay. So how did you do in October and November last month? Now that you're out of your office job and you're, not full time, but most of your time is spent, your work time is spent with organizing. So how did those months go?
Yeah, so October was actually my best month, so almost 3,300. So
Awesome.
broke the 3K mark.
Amazing.
That felt really good. And November was great too, over 3,000 as well. So makes and it just makes that 2K goal that I initially set for myself that seemed like so unattainable. And every new month I'd go into with so much like skepticism, like, oh my God, can I really hit 2K again? And now I'm hitting 3, and it's almost replacing what I was making doing my full-time job where I was working over 40 hours a week.
Yep, you're getting close. Like
totally
your
unhappy.
hourly, for the hours you're working, your hourly rate is creeping up because you were working 45 hours a week before, but now you've got that balance and you're making more per hour, which is awesome.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. So
and you get to book your stuff out when you want to book it.
Yeah, loving it.
So that's awesome. Let's see what else. What would you say, now a little Q&A, what would you say are your 3 most, the 3 qualities that describe you in your business? What would you say the 3 words people would say about you or you would say about yourself?
Yeah, I think I used the word determined before. I definitely just went into this year being like, I have to change. I have to take action. Action was actually my word of the year.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
For 2020. So I just did it and I just proved it to myself. So just super determined, staying positive. I mean, obviously quarantine was hard on everybody and just not being able to see family or leave your house. But I just, like I kind of was telling in my story, like just found a way to find the positive in every moment or situation or opportunity. And then just being open-minded, like you just never know who you're talking to. Somebody, I have an assistant now and I met her mom at the Container Store. Like you just never know when you're going to find someone or meet someone or the right opportunity might come. So just being really open-minded and open to just the change, the difference, the what ifs, the what's possibles. I think that's just kind of helped me stay positive along this journey too, because there's been a few, it's a few times where you're like, oh gosh, what did I do? I really quit my job. Is this, did I make the right choice?
There's always doubts. No day is perfect. No day, not every day is perfect, but you probably have more good days than bad days, and you just keep plugging along and building your business. What are some of the ways that you think you've built your business up in the last 6 months?
Social media. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for social media, I don't know where I'd be. And honestly, in the beginning, and just for like anyone who's watching this as some encouragement, it took me a good probably 4 months of continuous posting, really putting my name out there before things started happening. And I remember probably in like May or June, I had been posting this whole time. Obviously, we were quarantined. We couldn't go to people's houses, but I still wanted to like be out there and be visible. And I just remember like, gosh, things really aren't happening. They aren't happening. And then all of a sudden they happened at once. So just stay consistent with your posts.
It's a slow and steady rate when you're posting on social media. It might take a few months and then it will hit. That's true.
Yep, for sure. So that's been my best asset so far.
So last question here. Well, a couple more.
Okay.
What do you think you've learned and how have you changed in the last 10, 11 months from where you were in January?
I don't even know where.
Erika, what is the difference? How are you different now?
I'm just happier for one. I feel in control of my life. I feel balanced. I definitely was not feeling that before. I felt chaotic and stressed all the time. I don't feel stressed ever now.
Good.
Let's see, how else have I feel like I've changed a ton. Like I look back to some of my clients that I had in the very beginning and I kind of like laugh at myself because of, not that I didn't know how to organize or approach, like I feel like I've always known how to talk to people, but I just feel like I've grown so much the more I've done it, and just being experienced and different products, knowing what to recommend or the approach, how to talk through different situations.
Sure.
Just that exposure, I've seen so many different things now. Just kind of being open to like the way that I want to do it isn't always going to be the best way for that client, so really tailoring to their needs. Gotten creative. I think I found I'm more creative than I thought I was initially. So that's good.
Awesome. Okay. So going into 2021, do you have any goals for January, and do you have any goals for the year?
Yeah, I have a date with myself. So my birthday is Thursday. So every year I set goals for the next year, and for my, it's because I'm December, it ends up being like, because I'm going to be 31, but also that year. So I like to do a big reflection and just really kind of like dig into what I want to do next year. But so this year I'll end, my total sales for the year will be around probably 17,000.
Okay, great.
Which that's huge for me. I think that's amazing.
Awesome. Yes, great.
So about 3 months of actual full-time work, not even full-time.
Yeah.
So pretty proud of that. So I look at that number and I think like, what could I do next year? So my goal is 40K.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I think I can do it. I know I can do it. I just got to do it. So
you got so much more time for marketing, so much more time for networking. You can definitely hit 40K, I think. Yeah.
Yep. So it's not quite replacing what I was making, but again, working when I want to work and having that flexibility is well worth it. And always room for growth. So that's my big goal for next year. I look at these 3K months, the last 2 in a row, and I think maybe I need to up my monthly goal, my monthly minimum. So I'll be assessing that for January. But just really, my goal too for this kind of Q4 I set for myself was really to find balance and what that means to me. And I just want to continue to maintain that. I don't want to be run ragged. I don't want to be stressed and running around all the time. So I want to just kind of continue that, because that's not my personality either. I'm always the yes girl and figure out a way to make it all happen. So
right. No, you've got the perfect balance with your family, and it sounds amazing what you've done, and really, really exceeded. I mean, I had great expectations for you, but you exceeded those too. And I'm just so happy you got to quit your job and living the life you want to live. It's incredible. Anything else you could think of to say to somebody who is on the fence? Like, I just got in this group. I don't know the first thing about business or organizing, but I love to organize my own stuff. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, I was that girl, right? I mean, I did work in a corporate environment for a long time, so I feel like I picked up on some business stuff, but I never owned a business before. I don't have a business degree. I don't know how to do accounting, like, but it's okay. Like, you'll figure it out.
Yep.
I think if you have a passion, let that drive you, and the rest kind of falls into place. I'm still figuring out how to pay taxes and do things, but you learn as you go. And as long as you're open to learning, you're going to be fine. So
Right.
find your passion, find what fuels you, and just go do it. Don't let anything hold you back.
Yeah, good. One more thing. How has the group kind of helped you jumpstart, and the pay group? How has that helped you with
Oh my God.
job supplies, getting advice about certain things? How has that come into play with some of your maybe more challenging jobs or different kind of jobs? How has that
Yeah,
played into it?
I feel like we're such a little family, and I love it. It's like the second I have a question on, an awkward space, or
Mhm.
I've never encountered this type of whatever before,
Right.
like, what, help, someone help.
Yes.
It's just so nice to have a resource. Yeah,
I help.
exactly. Everyone's so great with recommending different products or different processes, or, just thoughts and ideas. I mean, I've never used a turntable before, this group. And then I know a bunch of people were posting about turntables on one of the things I had said. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I would have never thought of that.
Yeah.
Now I use them like all the time.
Right.
But just for inspiration, and also just looking at some of these other girls and their successes. I mean, how much more motivation do you need just seeing these real life people hitting these amazing numbers and
Yep.
doing their thing, living their best life? So I just love kind of the daily inspiration, and then just like you said, a resource for all things organizing, or even just like, had a crap day, this client sucks, like, someone help me. How do I work through
Talk
this?
through
Because you need,
sure.
it's
Yeah.
hard being a business owner by yourself with no coworkers to bounce stuff off of. So I feel like I've got a whole network of that.
Yep, ditto. I do too. Okay, Erica, thank you so much for all your inspiration and telling us your story again, because I know you've been in the group and you've been so vocal and so supportive. So thank you again for this hot seat interview, and we will see
Yeah.
you in the group. And tonight is your class,
Yep.
and we'll see you in the class tonight.
Sounds
Have a
perfect. Thanks
great
again for
night.
having me.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Bye.